Hello and welcome back to Lone Wolf. Right, we're pretty ready for this fight. It's fine. Okay then. Sword and axe at the moment. Not my favourite combination, but I do know a guy who swears by it. And I'll admit, he can do some very clever things with his axe. Guy at university I know favours a Dane axe. I do like the fact there's a decent amount of, it's basically, several of the same creatures, but there's a few variants in the design. Okay, these guys are apparently immune to poison, which is annoying. But that's what fire is for. Yeah. Can we get a bleed on him, I wonder? No. Immune to bleed. The only thing he's not immune to is fire. Gotta say, using a strike to hit that's designed to hit multiple enemies on a single target might be overkill. It might be a poor idea. But it does the most damage out of all of them. Which right now is what I need. This guy's going down quite easily. I'm kind of weirded out. I love the fact he just seems to throw the sword at them, or is it... It's almost like the sword is basically attracted to them in a I really want to stab that guy through the guts kind of a way. He's back up. I'll be honest, they're nowhere near as much of a threat as their boss. Stun one. Guard against the other. Possibly should have called in my wolf friend, but oh well. Good. I may well do that. Wolf friend, you saved my ass earlier in this fight. Now, get in here. And do it again. Let's face it, a lot of people underestimate wolves. Wolves are pretty damn deadly. Especially when they're working in packs. It's probably because nobody, in most of the Western world, you're unlikely to ever encounter a wolf anywhere. People don't realise quite how dangerous they are, but wolves can kill you very, very happily. Barely bat an eyelid. Especially because I don't even know... Well, okay, they obviously have eyelids, I know that much. So I don't think they bat them. I think that's a very human thing to do, is bat eyelids. Baka. Okay, the stun is problematic. Thankfully, I've still got Mr. Wolf there doing his job. Oh dear. I'm gonna have to drink a potion, I suspect. I'm definitely gonna have to drink a bloody potion. The potion crack. And I'm gonna throw down a stun bomb. More vulnerable to standard strikes. If they're stunned, they're not going to be trying to attack me. That's not necessarily true. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried. Okay, turtle up. Dang it! I was hoping you'd get at least one more attack in before he skedaddled. Oh well. Dodge. And kill him with a counter. Counter kill! Bleed on him. Good. I think I'm going to cast Heal. So that to me seems like a wise move. I'll say, I suspect I would have been under a lot of trouble if I hadn't managed to take no, what's it called? The Vodak? Yes, the Vodak. If I hadn't managed to take him out really quickly and efficiently, I'd have been in trouble, I suspect. But since I did, this fight was pretty straightforward. There we go. Still not a massive axe fan. Don't get me wrong, you can do interesting things with axes, but and a honking great mace, which I probably won't use. Okay, I could do with the hardened steel and the king's leather. So, what can I afford to get rid of? I can ditch the throwing knives because they barely sell for anything. What else can I afford to ditch? I can drink this potion. Kind of unnecessary, particularly as I suspect that's the end of that act, but needed the space in the inventory. Despite its great power, Abysmal's shields break and it staggers under your furious assault. With a desperate blast of profane magic, it forces you back and rises up into the air. Calling up every last mote of energy from the temple it can, the Vordak begins to blaze like a blood-red star. I will not be defeated by the likes of you, Kai Lord! No matter what it takes, you die this day! Though it tries to direct its magic into a massive killing blast, you have weakened Abysmal to the point where it can no longer contain its power. Grey flesh burns away from its chest, revealing the Vordak's severely overcharged gem. The revealed jewel pulses once, thundering like a horrid heartbeat, and then explodes. This final blast is more than the ravaged ritual chamber can take. Broken stone subjected to the Vordak's foul ritual, and the powers unleashed during your epic battle finally gives way. You manage to seek cover as parts of the ceiling crumble and the room caves in around you. The world disappears into debris and darkness. Excuse me for 1 second, I've got a slight frog. Hopefully that wasn't too speaker damaging. I did cover the microphone. Once the dust settles and you feel safe to move again, you stand up and try to find a path through the ruins of the chamber. Most of the ceiling is now on the floor, great piles of rock filling up most of the room. As you seek your way past the rubble, the sound of a weary breath catches your attention. Concerned that some of the soldiers from Vatang may have survived the chamber's collapse, you move towards the source carefully. There, lying under a mound of dirt and pebbles, you find your brave lupine companion. The wolf pack leader has been with you all this time, as he had silently promised, and you fear the worst, but once you reach him, you see that he was only wounded in the collapse. He is hurt, but at least he is still alive. The pack leader gazes up at you in silent apology. Though his injuries are not severe, he cannot follow you any longer. To recover, he must return to the pack and rest. You feel him invite you to do the same, sensing how battered and exhausted you are as well. And though the offer is tempting, you cannot accept. You send your affection and encourage him to head back to the forest now. He has to walk his path alone, and so must you, all the way to Vatang. The big alpha wolf nuzzles your face before departing. He gruffs once, and then heads back towards the forest. Once he is safely gone, you press deeper into the Chamber of Ruins. Many thoughts cloud your mind as you make your way through the tunnel. You can only hope that the path forward is still open. You pray Leandra is still alive. You fear that Gaznar has already unveiled the secrets of her prototype. But for all your worries and doubts, one thing is absolutely certain. You battled your way through the sunken forest. You endured every hardship of the Shanti Temple, and now you stand at the foot of the Vatang. It is time to take the fight to the enemy. Yep. Still using my brains. Okay, let's continue. And now on to Act 4, which I think is the last act.
As the Vordak disintegrates, release of its dying power makes the temple walls shudder violently. The ceiling begins to collapse, and a deluge of rocks fall around you. At last, the way to Vatag is clear. The time has come for you to take the fight to the enemy's door.
Oh, it's going to be a bit of a hike. Isn't it? Dawn over Vatag. Chapter 1. The ground shudders violently as the flagstone floor cracks and crumbles beneath your feet. Gasping for breath, you stagger out of the temple ruins and behold a terrifying sight. The dark tower of Vatag looms over you. Like an accusing finger, this monstrous edifice of granite and black iron pierces the sky, drawing bolts of lightning from the rolling clouds above. The uppermost level of this dread tower is caught in the eye of the storm. Cheery looking place. Is anybody else getting a it's not Khazad-dûm, it's Cirith Ungol. I'm getting a Cirith Ungol vibe from that. It's probably part of the point. Through swirling flurries of loose snow you see a broad staircase. It passes through an arch of iron and stone and makes a long, steep ascent towards the tower's great door. The staircase offers no cover to anyone or anything that approaches the entrance, and to attempt to enter Vatag by this dangerous path would leave you exposed and vulnerable to the watchers in the tower wall. You fear you'll fall to their bolts and arrows long before you reach the door itself. With flagging spirits you scour this bleak and hostile domain. Then you detect something that rekindles hope and determination. A dozen yards beyond the archway you catch sight of a smaller stairway. It branches off the main stair and leads to a semicircular culvert set into the tower's granite base. The opening of the drainage tunnel is crisscrossed with bands of black iron. If you can reach the culvert and enter the tower by this way, you may avoid alerting the enemies within to your presence. Incidentally, has my stuff prepared? Yes, it has. Fantastic. Don't get me wrong, that axe was pretty decent, but I'm just not an axe guy. Yeah, nice shield. Anywho. So, what do we think, guys? You concentrate and rely on your sixth sense to define your strategy. It's not led me wrong yet. Your sixth sense screams a dire warning that any attempt you make to enter Vatag by the great door will be nothing less than suicidal. The tower's grand portal is firmly locked and its lower walls are riddled with lockouts and firing ports. Before you could reach the top of the grand staircase, you would certainly be seen and cut down by a murderous hail of missiles. Guided by your strong instinct for survival, you decide to attempt to enter Vatag by way of the culvert. Your stealthy approach is aided by flurries of loose snow that whirl across the windswept staircases and keep you hidden from the watchful eyes of the tower guards. You reach the barred tunnel and press yourself against its iron grating. Because you are so close to the foot of the tower, you cannot be seen by enemy lookouts that are stationed at the watch posts in the wall above. Okay, let's make a break for it. Ah, we're going through their dungeons, are we? This is going to be unpleasant. A sluggish, shallow rivulet of foul-smelling liquid trickles away through the lower part of the grating. You take a closer look and discover a small iron door which is set into the middle of the grating. Its heavy lock is coated with a layer of rust and filth, yet the keyhole is clearly visible. Over time, the corrosive effluent has eaten away at the submerged bars and weakened the door's rivets. Good choice. Let's pick the lock. Lockpicking has not let me down yet. There's always the problem with long games that require me to do an awful lot of talking. My voice is starting to go. Damn it. I suspect it's all the way around here. As I say, it seems to be, as a general rule of thumb, in one of about 5 or 6 places. Unlike Skyrim, where it could get, where if you were trying to pick a master level lock, you've got to hit it right to the nanometer. Beyond the culvert door, a stone-walled tunnel begins in a gentle ascent towards a chamber where several sewer outflow pipes discharge their waste into the main flow. The stench of this place is overpowering. Anxious to get away from the noxious fumes, you search for some means to escape. You see the rungs of an iron ladder fixed to the chamber wall, and they lead to a heavy wooden trapdoor in the ceiling above. Quickly, you climb the rungs to the top of the ladder, and try to get the trapdoor open. by pushing it with your shoulder. Sorry about that yawn there. Fortunately, it is not locked and you are able to leave the foul chamber behind you. Swiftly, you scan your surroundings for signs of danger and sense no immediate threats to life and limb. Reassured that your entrance to Vatag has not been detected, you follow the torchlit walls of a corridor that leads to a shadowy chamber. Through an archway in the far wall, you can see a large and dimly lit hall beyond. Several passages branch off from the hall, and each one of them is lined with row upon row of prison cells. You have entered the dungeons of Vatag. The dungeons of this fell tower have an evil reputation. The poor unfortunates who become imprisoned in this terrible place rarely survive the ordeal. If they do not perish outright, they emerge broken in mind and body. This chilling thought prompts another. If Leandra is being held a prisoner of this tower, she could be locked away in one of these dungeon cells. Your thoughts are broken by the desperate howls of a creature in pain. The sound reverberates around the walls with chilling effect. You detect that it's coming from part of your hall that's out of your view. Cautiously, you approach the archway and enter the hall beyond. So what is this? Gladiatorial arena? Torture chamber? It's going to be unpleasant, whatever it is. At the far end of this gloomy hall, you see a black Durnkrag wolf. He can hardly stand on his legs and his fur is matted with dried blood. A Dracarine warrior clad in black armour looms over him. That is an Akamazok, a master of doom wolves. The Drakkar utters a cruel laugh and then barks out a sharp command. Des, Agach! Come forward. From the mouth of the dark passageway in the far wall emerge a small patrol of Dracarine guards. They are followed into the hall by 2 young adult doom wolves. The Akazamok commands the growling beasts to heel by his side, and obediently they obey. The injured wolf has been captured in the sunken forest and brought here to provide these young doom wolves with their first taste of blood. It is part of their harsh training. The Durnkrag wolf is a proud beast. He is badly injured and the fight ahead is going to be a tough one for the unfortunate creature. A few feet away from it, the hurrying doom wolves claw at the ground in frustration, as impatiently they await their master's order to kill. The Dracarine guards are eager to watch this gory spectacle, and they start to chant, Ruzar! Ruzar! Destroy. Destroy. Well, screw that, I'm not letting that happen. I've got your back, wolf. You're a separate wolf. You are determined to act quickly to save the injured wolf from a grisly death, and boldly you advance on the enemy, using speed and surprise to full advantage. I don't like people who are cruel to animals. Oh boy. And I'm sorry, strapping that much spiky armour to an animal is being cruel to it. Consider this me putting them out of their misery. So I feel like there's a good Pokemon joke in, don't like people who are cruel to animals. Because, let's face it, if you pay attention, Pokemon is a universe where they basically made cockfighting legal and then made it the only thing that anybody's allowed to be interested in. Can't use that at the moment because I don't have an actual wolf to summon. That makes sense. Stun powder. That might have been a waste of my stun powder, to be honest, because it's... Hey, you're stunned! How did you do that? Son of a bitch. Alright, you want to play it that way? Fine. Go for your legs. And then shoot you in the face with the crossbow. And then hope that the bleed's not going to be enough to get the job done. I've got a spare firebolt, I can hit him with that. Right, he's dead. Damn it, I meant to go into a defensive stance. Didn't quite make it before my time ran out. Okay, these wolves have got moderate health. I think I've started applying bleed effects much more often than I used to. But I clearly can't disarm the wolves, because, let's face it, their weapons are their teeth. You know, sort of serious dental work, I'm not going to, you know, cut their teeth out, so... Okay, ugly. Give me your best shot. Nice try. Not best enough, though. Okay, that might be. Oh god, my health is draining fast. This is what healing spells are for. And a heavy attack will be enough to finish him. Assuming he doesn't dodge it. Oh! Nice move. Completely impractical. Never let your feet leave the ground like that, because you're just asking to die. Come on, seriously? I suppose from a story point of view, it did say that those guys were there, didn't it? Go for this one's weapon. Okay, that's about all I've got this turn. Use Sixth Sense, give myself a chance to regen just a little bit. Strike at that guy. Strike at that guy. Maybe hit them with some telekinesis. Yeah. Hit him with some telekinesis, so he's stunned. Well, it's not stunned, it's bound, whatever it is, but yeah. That'll do nicely. You can get set on fire, because I don't like you. And you can be poisoned, because I really don't like you. Your turn. So what's the effect of the, the wolf's bite? Is that reducing my damage because it was going after my arm, or is that causing me to bleed, or what? I can't tell. Very dead. Just the way I like my opponents. As dead as possible. Just not that pesky kind of dead where they get up and start walking around. That's always annoying. Okay. Yep, I'm definitely taking bleeding damage from that. From that wolf's attack. What was it, a Doom Wolf, did they call it? Doom Wolves. But when regular Doom just isn't enough. Oh, bollocks. I'm gonna have to drink a potion. I was hoping to avoid doing that. Oh well. At least that ended the fight. Let's get some more potions on my belt. I always need health potions on my belt just in case. It's not that often that I need them, but it's often enough to keep them there. Ooh. Okay. Just want to go to the inventory. So that can go there. That could be handy in case I need to heal in a pinch. You step over the bodies of your slain foes and stare at the Dunkrag wolf. The beast meets your gaze and narrows its eyes. You have saved it from certain death in the jaws of the Doom Wolves, but you sense it does not trust you. Slowly, it tilts its head from side to side as it waits for you to make the first move. try to calm the wolf and convince him you mean no harm. You open your hands and show them to the nervous wolf in the hope that this unthreatening gesture will convince him of your good intentions. Calling on your Kai discipline of animal kinship, you look deep into the feral eyes of the creature. To your surprise, the will of the beast proves strong and indomitable in spite of its severe injuries. Gradually, the wolf understands that you've saved its life, and that you mean him no harm. He seems to accept you as a friend, and you sense that he wants to repay this debt of gratitude to you for having saved him from a gruesome death. Silently, he vows to fight at your side against the cruel denizens of this dark tower. You cast your eyes around the walls of this grim hall and make a mental note of several passageways that lead from here to the unexplored areas of this dungeon complex. But the dungeon is vast, and Leandra could be anywhere. Mindful of this, you decide to look for her down here by exploring the dungeon's other chambers. You should do it now. It is unlikely you will have the opportunity to return to this area of the fortress once you have left it. If only we had something, Leandros, we could give to our new wolf friend. Let's face it, wolves. Excellent senses of smell. If anyone could find it, they could. So yeah. Better explore these places first. Because I doubt she's down here, but we might find something interesting. You reach a chamber where the telltale stench of geeks is palpable. There are a lot of them here. This part of the tower fortress seems to house them. They are not permitted to tread the floors of the upper levels unless expressly summoned there by their Dracoran commanders. The stifling humidity of this area of Vatag is close and oppressive, yet it is a welcome change coming from the creatures of darkness, especially the Gorguts. They frequent the geek halls and delight in terrorizing them with impunity. From the shadow of a stout Pelastar, you observe one such Gorguts as it plays with a helpless geek, tossing the creature repeatedly into the air and battling against the wall with its fearsome tail. The geek does not survive the brutal game very long. With a gruff command, the Gorguts orders two geeks to carry away the broken and bloodied remains of their unfortunate comrade, and with mounting dread, he watches the geeks take hold of the battered corpse and drag it unceremoniously towards the Pelastar behind which you have taken cover. I am going to provoke Mr. Ugly. The approaching geeks are too scared and too preoccupied with their grim duty to detect your close presence, and they pass by the Pelastar mere inches away from your shadowy hiding place. You wait until you are sure they have gone before you unsheath your weapon and step out in the gloomy light. Ro Ankag next tag, Okar Masik Hak Ok Lactus. Who will carry away your stinking corpse, I wonder? You shout at the Gorguts. The creature is deeply offended by your insults, and its anger comes quickly to the boil. The reptilian giant beckons to a group of geek marauders to follow as it lopes towards you with murderous intent, its thundering voice echoing throughout the hall. Charge! Well, I think that's probably a pretty reasonable point to end this video. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.